Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to today's Saturday afternoon bonus. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below, my merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It's absolutely free. Click that like button, it only takes 1 second, and please leave a comment. All these things really do help, and guys, they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's Saturday afternoon bonus. Shall we? I wasn't even going to do a bonus this afternoon. I was trying to relax this weekend. You know, first and foremost, I work an incredibly amount of long hours. 7 days a week. I can't even put hours into the equation because it varies on days, but it's no less than 10. Working on the channel, producing videos for you guys, researching, and I think that's one of the biggest things that separates me from a lot of YouTubers is that I research and I dig for clues, information, and I share them with you guys, and that leads into another upload beside accounts of encounters. So when I get emails, I go through them quickly, and ones that I don't want to or care about, like stupid ones, Allstate or whatever, delete them. Subscriber submissions, even if I don't read them right away, I click them in the star box and I place them starred, and then I go through them. This weekend I just wanted to take a break. I am going to do tonight's live stream, but I just wanted to relax and rest, read a book, and do a trial run of corned beef, cabbage, and potatoes and carrots. Well, I am doing that, but then I got an email that I noticed in the heading, very important government information. I opened it up, and the guy told me who he was, so there was a phone number attached, and I gave him a call, talked to him for about 45 minutes. And so he asked me not to disclose his name. He is retired. He retired from the Airforce Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Agency. He retired in 2013. That division of the Air Force was closed down in 2014. He retired probably like 9 months before the division was closed. And so I'm like, okay, well, I am interested in UFOs, UAPs. And he said, that's not what I want to talk to you about. And I'm like, okay. I said, what made you reach out to me? I'm 45,000 subscribers. I'm not big. I don't have a lot of followers. I got a lot of views, but I don't have a lot of followers. And he said that's precisely the reason. You research, you look into things, and from what he could tell, he feels like I'm an honest person. I was like, well, I appreciate that. During his career in the Air Force, he started to talk about a little bit about what he did. He's a couple years younger than my dad. He's about 68 years old, and he's been holding this information for 12 years now. Apparently, what really made him reach out was the Border Patrol attack. Now, for those of you who didn't hear it, 3 Border Patrol agents were in Texas, and they were Edinburgh, and they were on the Rio Grande watching some migrants come into the country illegally. And what they were doing is they were waiting for them to come across. On one side of them, they were above everybody, so they saw some stuff. They could see everything, and really nothing could see them. They saw what they at first thought was a wolf. Then it stood up and attacked these people and tore them apart. One of them shot the creature twice, fatally wounding it, they believe. And then 2 of those Border Patrol agents are now no longer with us. There is news pertaining to their deaths, but very strange deaths. We all know what happened. So I said, well, okay. He said, you're on the right path, Jeff. And I said, okay, what's that mean? And he said, the government have been harnessing these creatures. They didn't create them, but they've been harnessing them for weapons of war in case ever needed, ever our country was invaded. This project has been going on for a lot longer than most would think. It really ramped up in the 60s. It really started to pick up in the 60s, and one of the reasons why was because they felt that they could harness some of these creatures to use as weapons of war in other countries, or if we were ever invaded. But if there was ever conflict in the United States, and the reason why he said in the 60s it really ramped up was because of a lot of the protests that were going on. If ever needed, they could flood the inner cities very quickly and quietly take care of trouble, riots. He said fortunately they never did. There are occasions that it happens. And I'm like, wow, okay, this isn't the first time that I've heard something like this, but it's a little more detailed than I first knew. He said that only certain special operations were aware of this. The Air Force, the Navy, and Army, after SOCOM was created, they were involved a little bit. I said, well, yeah, the Super Soldier program. And he said, that's not SOCOM, Jeff. That's not who controls the Super Soldier program. And I said, okay, well. He then tells me that the harnessing of these creatures is no longer just an American project. All right, sorry, I apologize. I had to go check on the corned beef. It was boiling over. And so he said, we're not America is not the only country that has harnessed these creatures. And I said, okay. I kind of heard that before too. In 1967, President Johnson, during the conflict in Southeast Asia, Vietnam War, there were creatures used on our side. And the communist regime over there had captured a couple. They were then brought back to mainland China. And I said, wow, okay, well, how do you know all this? And because of who and what he did for the Air Force, a lot of reconnaissance were done. And a lot of satellite imagery was captured. He said that in China, they weren't using underground bases like we use here. They don't really need to hide anything from their people because all their people are loyal or they're dead. And there are certain parts of the country that are pretty much barren, no human beings. But there's these camps out there, and they've had satellite imagery of these kind of breeding programs in China. And I'm like, okay, well, that's crazy because, you know, we're not on great terms with these guys right now. And he said, well, we've never really been on great terms. It's always been a balance of power. I said, do you think that they'll use them on us? He said, I don't really think so. He said, but it's a possibility. And then he started to talk about some things that were going on in America. He almost kind of stopped that whole, like he almost said too much. So under Presidential Order Johnson, during all of this, when they found out some of these creatures had been captured, Johnson started to increase the programs here in our country. Nixon did as well. And when he first was approached, he was in Air Force. He was in the Air Force. He demonstrated a lot of skills. He was a very intelligent kid when he was younger. Still is. I mean, you could tell this guy was a genius, if not really smart. You know what I mean? And the Air Force intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance program reached out to him. The agency reached out to him, and they recruited him. It was their job to monitor worldwide certain little other countries' programs like nuclear capability, this, and that. There was a select few of people that were in charge of looking at cryptid containment in other countries. And it wasn't just the Air Force. It was naval intelligence. Army, but with the Air Force, they had the skies. Right now, he is in 100% belief that this program is ramping up more now. He had asked me how much I knew about Dulce, and I said, well, a little bit. You know, I did 20 videos on it, and I've read a lot. I interviewed Laura Eisenhower, and he said, oh, yeah, Laura is a very intelligent woman. And I said, yes, sir. He pretty much said that these bases, underground, Dulce, areas like that, are no longer defunct. They did go defunct for a bit under Clinton. This is nothing to what Victor shared with us. This is, you know, we're talking East Coast Victor, but he's talking about the dumbs that were hidden. He asked me, why do you think they drain Lake Mead, and why do you think there are bodies in Lake Mead all the time? And I said, well, you know, things happen. You know, gangsters, drug deals gone bad, crap like that. He said there's a lot more bodies found in locations that have involvement in these classified programs. He said that as of right now, he knows that the government is working on some sort of hybrid program to create, using the molecules or DNA strands of Dogman and mixing them with other strains of things that we have gathered and, you know, controlled since Dulce, alien involvement, this and that, and that what people are seeing as of late is a genetic creation of the government. They're using these Dogman creatures and Bigfoot to create another more dangerous animal that actually has some kind of intelligence, more intelligence, and can be controlled easier. I asked him, I said, well, you know, what are these? Are they human-like? Are they these? And he said, no, these are what people are talking about when they say these Dogmen are super soldiers. These are a genetic mutation that our government is now creating. And a lot of the times that when people are think they're seeing a Dogman, think they're seeing a Bigfoot, it's not. It's one of these creatures. They have the capability of quickly cloaking, quickly vanishing. And he and I talked for 20 more minutes. I said, can I record you? And he said, no. I said, I understand. I said, well, can you share more information with me? What can I share? What this, and that? He said, you can share what I just shared with you. Do not share my name. Do not share my phone number, and do not share my email. And I said, okay. It really does kind of put a lot of what we've heard, it gives it more concrete base, I guess. I guess that would be the thing to say. But to know that other countries are capable of, I mean, how many of you guys thought other countries are capable? You know, we're not just, yes, we're America. We are the home of the brave. We are free. We are, you know, we're mighty. But there are other countries that have the capabilities that we have as well. And that's scary to think about, that other countries are now countries that equal our power, our finances, are capable of harnessing these things as well, and could quite possibly use them on us at any time. The one thing that, I mean, I've already thought about this crap, but the one thing that freaked me out the most is when he was talking about the 60s, and that at one point Johnson, during the riots in 67, 66, during that era after Kennedy was killed, that they had contemplated on using these creatures to subdue and control Americans. Can you imagine what our future would be like right now if they had used those things? How many leaks would have been out? I mean, they definitely couldn't have quieted it all down, but just imagine. I don't know. I was shocked. I didn't intend on doing a update or a bonus upload, excuse me, because I pretty much have everything set for the weekend. I just, really wanted to relax. But like I said, read a little bit. But then this email, I was shocked, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So, just a bonus. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. A second half will be in a couple of hours, and then the live stream will be a little bit later on than that. So with that, stay safe, stay healthy, and may the Great Spirit watch over us all. May He guide us down that path that we call life.